Hello everyone, Josh here with a new entry in the Just Saying catalogue. Today I'll be discussing the current state of 4 of the more notable Dragon Ball games on console that I've played. Those games being Xenoverse 2, fighterZ, The Breakers, and lastly, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. In this video I'll be talking about their release, how the game's evolved over time, and the state of the game at the moment. And now, without further ado, let's go back in time to 2016 with Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2.
Attention, all proud warriors! Have you ever considered joining Time Patrol?
Where do I even begin with Xenoverse 2? First of all, it was my main introduction to Dragon Ball as a whole, and it holds such a special place in my heart. Released back in 2016 to quite a good reception at the time, this game was preceded by 2014's Xenoverse, and improved upon the game so well, making the game less clunky and got some better graphics and a massively big roster. And furthermore, including characters that were previously paid content for the first game. The pre-order bonus even included Goku Black, who was dubbed for the first time in Xenoverse 2, believe it or not. Xenoverse 2 has had a massive amount of DLCs, with a grand total of 20 up until October 2025, with Future Saga Chapter 3. And Chapter 4 slated for release in 2026 at some point. And the story for the game is brilliant. It follows your own character as a sequel to the first game, where you basically go through time and fix history as a whole, keeping it as it is meant to be and preventing any major changes. The graphics still hold up really well for the game being released almost 10 years ago now. However, the characters do look dipped and well transformed and don't look that anime accurate, unlike the next game, Dragon Ball fighterZ. Dragon Ball fighterZ released in 2018, and unlike Xenoverse 2, which is an arena fighter, fighterZ is more traditional, akin to Street Fighter. The gameplay of fighterZ is quite fun, and it was quite a positive audience reaction upon release, with features such as character switching to extend combos, and dramatic finishes upon the right character matchup and stage selection. The game also has an original story that introduced Android 21, who was both the main antagonist of the story and even one of the protagonists of the part of the story. fighterZ has, as of now, has received a total of 3 fighters passes and 22 paid characters. And at one point people thought the game was going to stop getting support before October 2025 due to them basically having an end of service announcement, which then turned out to be false at EVO 2025 in France, where a new DLC character, Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku, was announced, breathing life back into the game, and its popularity would then spike. Unfortunately, this cannot be said about Dragon Ball The Breakers. In 2022, which wasn't that long ago now, The Breakers isn't your typical Dragon Ball game, where instead of being a fighting game, it's an asymmetrical survival game, kind of like Dead by Daylight, where a group of survivors work together to activate keys in zones of the map, which in turn lessen the time it takes for a super time machine to activate once it spawns. The survivors can also fight the raider through the use of transfers, which give them the power of cast characters and forms. I was extremely fortunate enough to actually take part in one of the closed beta tests for the game when it was before released, and I thought it had a lot of promise and potential behind it, and because it was so fun and just had a decent player base for it. And for a time after release, it remained popular due to it being so new and fun to play. However, over the years it has unfortunately dwindled to the point where it's nearly impossible to get a room in Xbox lobbies, and it's on the same engine as Xenoverse 2, so it has the similar flaws to that game. But it also has some stuff that needs to be in Xenoverse 2, like transformation hairs and the ability to go Super Saiyan 4. And which is just so annoying that it's not in Xenoverse. While this game's popularity did die out, the hype was only building up until the release of Sparking Zero. Sparking Zero released with early access starting on the 7th of October 2024, and then the release date was the 11th of October for the rest of the world, and it had a very positive reaction at the time, as it was the return of the Budokai Tenkaichi franchise, and people had such high hopes, including myself. And at first people were happy, and as it was fun to play and had very good sized roster, as well as a lot of what ifs. However, a few characters were missing. However, this love for the game would not last over time, as people would quickly go bored with the game due to lack of content such as game modes and maps, and it would have spikes of popularity, specifically around the releases of DLC, such as January with the Hero of Justice pack, the first Diamond pack in April 2025, and more recently the second Diamond pack, released on the 24th of September 2025. I personally really enjoy Sparking Zero, having pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition and having played it frequently ever since it released, and I'll continue playing it for much longer. In conclusion, I have a good feeling about the future of Dragon Ball games, and while it's a major shame the Breakers died out within 3 years, Xenoverse 2 and fighterZ still going strong gives me such hope that Sparking Zero will follow in their footsteps, only getting better over time. For Xenoverse 2, I'm really looking forward to what Future Saga Chapter 4 entails, and how the game will progress further from that point onwards, whether it's more DLC or even the announcement and release of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. And it's really nice to see fighterZ get new life breathed right into it after seemingly dying out. And while it's not my preferred style of game, it's still fun to play when I'm bored. Finally, for Sparking Zero, I'm glad I pre-ordered it before it released, especially the Ultimate Edition, and I have very high hopes for future DLC releases, and hopefully there'll be new maps, new game modes, and characters that have been missing, such as Pycon or Super 17. With that all said and done, I hope you enjoyed this iteration of Just Saiyan. I've been Josh, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.